welcome to my so-called podcast. I'm Gary Linton.
And I'm Eric Spiegel.
Hey, Eric. What? Should we do that? I'm Gory Linton.
And I'm Eric Spiegel.
All right. This is at my...
I'm Eerie Eric.
There you go. This is my so-called podcast. It's a podcast where we go back in the 90s and we look at a movie and an album that were released the same week.
Right. And this week, we're trying to go back and talk about something that happened in the 90s that has something to do with the scariest month of the year.
December?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. The scariest month.
April. Taxes.
Oh, God.
It's scary.
Oh, man, I gotta get my taxes.
Oh, I have 1040s.
Yeah. 1040, good buddy.
That's right. Convoy.
No, Shocktober.
Oh, Shocktober.
Yeah, Shocktober. Shocktober is a month where we go back to a week in the 90s where something scary came out. Gary, do we go back to an October week always?
No, unfortunately, no. We don't. I mean, I guess fortunate. I don't know. Is that fortunate or unfortunate? I don't know.
It's fine.
Okay. This week we're going back to January 19th, 1996.
Why do we go back
there? We're going to discuss Cibo Matto's Viva la Woman, which isn't that scary, okay? Let's just get that out of the way.
There's one song that's kind of scary, according to my 6-year-old son.
Okay, all right. But this week was also the week that Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez released From Dusk Till Dawn.
Dun dun dun. Vampire. Bat noise. Chain rattle. Gunfire.
Scream. Distant scream.
And alcohol bottles shattering.
Creaky door opening.
Green blood.
Okay.
Naked women. Naked woman.
I thought we were doing just scary sound effects. I think I lost what the point of that was.
But a naked woman has to make a noise of some sort, right, Gary?
No.
I defy any Foley artist in Hollywood to tell me, what does a naked woman sound like?
That's how you know you're a Foley artist, is when you can answer that question.
Well, you have to know what the naked woman's doing. Like if she's screwing in a light bulb, it's like
right. Or if she's walking on the floor.
Or hammering in a nail.
Right.
Or gargling.
Oh. I guess that works. Eric, so we're gonna.
I was trying to get liquid on the mic.
Good call. We like to set the stage of the 90s by taking you back with some trivial facts.
Oh, using trivia.
Yes.
And the score keeps going. Last week, Gary got 0.
Oh, ouch. Below the belt.
And I got 2.
Dos mio.
And so it keeps going until somebody gets 20, and whoever wins gets the other guy steaks. Because we thought this segment
needed steaks.
Otherwise, it'd be boring. You actually won the first round.
Yes.
And the second round.
Right.
I paid you steaks for the first round.
Yep.
But not the second round.
You properly recapped our lives.
Well, what I'm saying is that I owe you steaks.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So just FYI.
Thanks. I won't forget.
Okay. Since you're losing, I'm going to ask you first.
Okay.
What Cambridge-born actress attended Harvard before spending 2 years as lifeguard Jordan Tate on Baywatch?
Oh, wow. I don't know. What's her name? Brooke. I'm gonna go with no. Carmen Electra.
You're gonna say Carmen Electra
No.
went to Cambridge.
No. Pamela Anderson.
Oh,
No, wait. David Hasselhoff.
it's a female.
Okay. Brooke somebody. I don't know. Go on. What's the answer? Okay.
Tracy Bingham,
Okay. All right.
apparently.
I did not know that one. I wasn't just faking it for the listener, because they probably thought I was.
Well, I mean, from experience, you're not gonna know when Carrie's faking it.
What actress, in anticipation of her nude scene with Leonardo DiCaprio, flashed him the first time they met?
I'm gonna go with Kate Winslet.
Yeah, that's right. Cheers. Hey, get out of here, studio audience.
I heard that it was James Cameron's hand when it's a close-up of the drawing of
Yeah.
Kate Winslet. But Kate Winslet
We're talking about Titanic,
is
folks.
no stranger to the nudity.
No, not at
She's
all.
not afraid of that.
So, yeah.
She's very European.
But, oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking she was Australian, but that's just
No,
her movie, Heavenly Creatures.
No.
Yeah, she is.
Jane Campion is Australian.
And Melanie Lewinsky? No, that's not right.
Melanie Linsky?
Linsky, yes.
I love her.
She's New Zealand.
Did you see that movie that was a big hit at Sundance in January, and then it was on Netflix just like a month or two later? I'm going to tell you.
That's a great story.
It's got Elijah Wood in it. It's good.
Okay, I'll check it out. Give me another trivia question.
Okay. What album was Marilyn Manson's spin on Jesus Christ Superstar?
Wait, what album was Marilyn Manson's spin on Jesus Christ? Oh, Antichrist Superstar is what that was called. Yep.
That is correct.
I was thinking that was the name of his album, Jesus Christ Superstar, so that was why I was confused. I was like, okay. What did tenor Richard Versailles do at a Metropolitan Opera performance after delivering the line, "Too bad you can only live so long"?
Die?
Yep, he died.
Oh, wow. I feel bad getting that right. Wow.
Yep.
He said that right after? I mean,
What
he said
did
that right
tenor
before he
do
died?
at a Metropolitan Opera performance after delivering the line. I don't know if it was right after.
Okay.
So.
It's like a Birdman situation where it's a little on the nose,
Yeah,
but it's very theatrical,
Right.
so you give it a little bit of leeway.
You think he knew he was going to die? And so that's why he made sure to deliver that line?
But then whenever Emma Stone's looking out the window, what's she looking
Yeah,
at
what's she seeing?
exactly?
What is she seeing?
Like, is it really? Is it magical realism, or
I
is
think
he
so.
crazy?
You don't
I'm not
know.
Sure.
Right. It's
She
all
sure
one-
does have big eyeballs.
It's all one take.
Okay, all one take.
all one shot, I
Lots
guess.
of drums.
Yeah, exactly.
You want another question?
Yeah, third and final.
What miraculous French village did Madonna name her firstborn
Ooh, that's
for?
Lord.
Okay, so you got how many right?
1.
And I got how many right?
5. No, 4 so far.
2.
Total. Well, yeah, 2 tonight.
Okay.
So here's your last
1
one.
to 4 so far, but I might be able to get all of them right.
Yeah,
tonight,
what
which
city dimmed its lights for 10 minutes when Dean Martin bit the dust?
Dino. I'm going to go with Vegas.
Yeah, that's a good call. Vegas is correct.
Boom. I was going to go for an Italian city at first, but then I was like, that's Dean Martin, man.
Yeah,
He's the king of Vegas.
right. All right. So total, you got 5 total, and I'm at 1. I got 1.
5-1.
Nice. This is just like Cleveland. That's right. I got you right where I want you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back in the 9th inning.
Well, Cleveland's up 2-0.
As we record this
on the series.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it's 0-0, so it's not like me winning by 4. It's
no, okay.
I get remotely like that. It's like whenever the Yankees were up. What was it? 8-3.
Yes.
And then Cleveland won 9-8.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was going for. That's what I'm talking about. So we're going to go back to tell you what singles were on the charts when Cibo Matto released Viva La Woman in January 19th, 1996.
You want me to do that?
I'd like for you to do that, Eric. Can you do that, Eric? Eric, I'm asking you, please, would you tell us the singles that were released the same week? Or not released, but shooting up the charts.
You'll see, Gary. When I tell you that You'll See by Madonna was number 10.
What?
And you'll be in a gangsta's paradise when I tell you that Gangsta's Paradise was number 9.
Okay, I would be.
By Coolio. Featuring LV.
LV?
What if God was one of us, Gary? Just a slob like one of us. He would know that Joan Osborne's hit was at number 8.
Who would have guessed that our modern philosopher would have been Joan Osborne?
If you were digging on me, then I'd be digging on you, Gary, because TLC's at the TLC tip would have the number 7 song in the country, January 19th, 1996. And the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yep.
A hard-working rock band with some ballads to their name. Might have had their biggest hit on the charts at number 6 with Name.
Is that their biggest hit?
Well, it was their biggest hit to that point.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody had ever heard one of their songs.
No. They all knew the band name, Goo Goo Dolls.
No, they didn't.
No, okay.
And relationship advice superstars Deep Blue Something advised everybody that if they had a bad relationship, but if they both kind of like the same Audrey Hepburn movie, then it was worth staying together with. Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Breakfast at Tiffany's, I'll say.
Number 5.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Number 4, Missing by Everything But the Girl, which is a trip-hop remix sensation that made it into the top of the pops.
Top of the pops.
Hey Lover was also the name of the song by LL Cool J.
I thought you were just talking
number
to
3.
this person who just walked in the room.
Exhale, Shoop Shoop by Whitney Houston from the movie of the same name. Waiting to, I might add.
Exhale. Shoop Shoop.
Number 2.
What's the name of that movie?
And the super group collaboration of Boyz II Men and Mariah Carey and their song about perhaps a car crash. I don't know. Somebody died or something.
Okay.
Someone died. One Sweet Day, where they had a video where it was them recording the song in a recording studio.
Oh, nice.
Really inventive.
Yes.
One Sweet Day, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men, number 1.
Nice. Wow. Okay. All right. So that's what was going on the radio this week. So Cibo Matto's album, Viva La Woman, all the tracks, well, not all the tracks, but most of the tracks are food related. Here we got track 1, Apple, track 2, Beef Jerky, and so forth. We listen to I Know Your Chicken. Eric, either Cibo Matto's food songs are clever or just kind of a gimmick that they may have been better to not box themselves in.
I I'm going to go outside the lines and say neither.
Okay.
Neither nor.
Neither nor.
It's a new thing.
Okay.
I am not annoyed, nor do I wish they hadn't done this whole food album thing. But I also think it impacts nothing at all on the album. These songs could be called anything.
Sure.
In my opinion. Except for the chicken one, where she says say, know your chicken quite a bit.
And what about, well, I guess Birthday Cake, that's not the...
that's the worst song.
Yeah. Extra oil, extra sauce.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I think it's smart of them to try to bust out. I mean, at this point in...
You gotta have a gimmick.
Yeah, people, it's not enough
like the
that they have...
strippers of Gypsy Rose Lee said.
Right.
Gypsy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you can be two Japanese girls from New York City with your weird music, etc., but you still gotta bust out of the group of two Japanese girls with your music, etc. And they did that with their food-related album, Viva La Woman, which also has nothing to do with food.
No, it doesn't. You're right. Did you know Cibo Matto back in 1996?
I knew Cibo Matto's second album cover.
Okay.
Where they both have blue faces.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriend, now wife.
Okay. What's her name?
Had a roommate, Alicia.
Okay. Oh,
friend of the show, Alicia Spiegel. Had a roommate with a poster of the second album on the wall. And so that is what I knew. I
knew Cibo Matto from 120 Minutes. Know Your Chicken, the video, got quite a bit of play on that was the first single.
Is that the Michelle Gondry video?
No, Sugar Water is the Michelle Gondry video. Also got a lot of play, and that's a good video. The Know Your Chicken video is a bad video.
Know Your Chicken is not, is truth in advertising, because they do say... I know my chicken.
You got to know your chicken. So let me try to paint how cheaply that first video was made. It was like in a New York apartment, and they're in the kitchen, and there's somebody in the chicken costume comes into the door, and they're just like singing along. It was just a really cheap video.
Well, it's an indie act, right?
Right, yeah, they were indie at the time.
You can tell that it's very... So describe the Sugar Water video, because the Sugar Water song is still the #1 song on Spotify for this band.
Sure, yeah. Well, and that video, do you not remember that video?
I didn't have MTV.
Oh, okay. So it's a really good video, and I'd recommend that.
Do you remember that? I didn't have MTV.
I remember that now.
Okay.
When you reminded me.
Right.
And told me.
Some of us said it 120 minutes. When some of us didn't.
Okay. So I would recommend seeing the Sugar Water video. You should check it out. Michelle Gondry is a creative director, and
I might have seen it. I rented from the library
his video collection.
The video collection of him
it's
and
on
Spike
there,
Jones, and the other one might have been the guy who made the Nine Inch Nails Closer video, and he also made that.
Oh yeah, Chris Cunningham.
No.
Oh,
he has one.
He does have one. Aphex Twins.
But this guy who made the Never Let Me Go movie with Spider-Man.
Oh right. I don't know his name. I'm drawing a blank. So, but the Sugar Water video is split screen, and it's kind of like them going about their day. And so Cibo Matto is two Japanese ladies who live in New York, and this album was just recorded with just the two of them.
Mark Romanek.
Oh, Mark Romanek.
Yeah. He's got a good look at all my music videos.
Okay, yeah.
And anyway, go ahead.
Well, and so the Sugar Water video is films both of them, and it's split screen, and at the middle point of the song, they cross each other, and you realize one's going backwards, and the other one was going forward. Like, so yeah, check it out. I'm not doing a good job of explaining it,
No,
but
it sounds awesome.
yeah, it's a really good.
I would like to watch it.
Yeah.
No, I think that it is interesting to talk about when music videos were a huge thing.
Yeah, in
the 1990s to like mid 90s to late 90s and into the early 2000s, but not much. Music videos were huge. Like and the hugest ones were like...
I would even go early 90s. I mean, you got Smells Like Teen Spirit in 91. I mean, so...
I think they got even more huge with the TRL. Like, Hit Me Baby One More Time, like, was it maybe the hugest?
Maybe.
Or the NSYNC videos or the Backstreet Boys or whatever. And one of the things that happens when culture becomes so... populist and mainstream, etc., at the top of the bell curve, you get these things out on the edges where, like Michel Gondry,
right? He was trying to push the medium. I think
they are allowed to spend kind of a lot of money on these sort of indie acts,
right?
Where maybe it wouldn't happen. Certainly, at the mid 2000s. Music videos sort of disappeared. And then YouTube and the internet sort of picked them up.
Right, yeah.
Sort of towards the end of the aughts. And then Lady Gaga, I would say, was the main, like, here I have this, $30 million viewer hit music video on YouTube as opposed to on TRL or whatever.
Right, okay.
What I'm saying is that Michel Gondry could maybe play in the shallow end of the pool, but there were times where that would not be... Like Cibo Matto, why do they have money to have a video at all?
Especially that video after the first video. Like I said, Know Your Chicken is so bad, but then Sugar Water is really good, and it's... How were they able to afford? And I guess it had to do with 1996 when indie, I guess, the alternative was still going pretty strong. It was when was Lilith Fair,
Yeah, that's that time.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't say Cibo Matto fits the Lilith Fair.
No, they don't.
As much as like
Meredith Brooks.
More like Natalie Merchant.
Right. Okay. Liz Fair.
Yeah, but Bonnie Raitt. But it could have been Michel Gondry liked this music.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, this music is okay.
Yeah, it's the kind of music that you would again listen in the background. I think it's nice to have.
This album could be called background music.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, that was friend of the show Alicia Spiegel's thought about it. It's like, did they think they were making something other than background music?
Oh, right. The only thing where you think that they might not is sometimes they scream when they scream the lyrics.
Beef jerky, for example, maybe doesn't sound like they think they're making background music.
And birthday cake and
birthday cake is just bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm 19, between the ages of 19 and 23 years old, and I'm going into a secondhand clothing store, but it's the kind of secondhand clothing store that's kind of small, and everything's overpriced.
Okay.
And there's a girl working there.
She's playing this in the background. Okay.
Who is way hotter than I was expecting, and she's folding the overpriced shirts, and she says, "Hey," and this music is playing in the background. I feel like that is this album to me.
Cibo Matto, they went on to make a second album with
you have no response.
No response to that. With Sean Lennon, he joined the band.
Well, and I listened to a little bit of that, and I feel like what he introduced was verse, chorus, verse.
I think, yeah, sure. I don't know if it was just them. That's
the Blueface poster that was on the college
after
wall.
This, album. They also did a side project with John Spencer Blues Explosion called it was Cibo, Matto and John Spencer Blues Explosion called Butter '08, and they have that Butter of '69 song. Get it? Butter of '69 instead of Summer of '69.
I don't.
It's Butter of '69.
Don't get it.
Instead of Summer of '69.
Oh, now I get it.
Okay. And so they were, and they also, Hero, I believe, she was on the Beastie Boys album, Hello Nasty.
Oh, how about that?
Yep. So they were on the Beastie Boys record label, Grand Royal.
From the beginning?
Yeah, I think this album was released on Grand Royal. So
I mean, here's a little sugar water for you.
The velocity of time.
Here I'm folding overpriced vintage.
Yeah, this, and you should check out this video though.
Sugar water.
So I enjoy this song. I like this one.
Yeah. Actually kind of like more than one song on this album. I like Apple.
Yeah, Apple's alright.
I think Beef Jerky. I think White Pepper Ice Cream.
That's which one you were saying you liked.
Know Your Chicken is good. Theme is good.
Theme's okay. It's kind of, I mean, I understand what they were doing, but
there's kind of two parts.
Yeah,
to it.
it goes on.
It's very experimental sounding and feeling.
Right. And, like, I guess they have to do it. So, basically, it's the two Japanese ladies. I wish I could get their names. Let me pull up their names instead of being...
Only there were some...
Exactly. They should deserve credit. Matto. Cibo, Matto. Nope, don't have it. Yuka Honda and Hiro Hattori.
There we go.
And I believe it's Miro does say no, it's Yuka Honda. She does all the instrumentation on it, basically. She just
certainly kind of impressive sounding.
Right, especially when you think of it, it's just her doing it all on the programming and everything like that. Where
there's certainly a lot of different
Miho Hattori.
But there is definitely, some of the songs have sort of a throwback quality to them. I guess that's why I'm imagining this background music happening in a vintage store more than like any other store. It's sort of like it's got that feel of a 1960s movie or 1970s.
Yeah, I think they were
indie,
going that. Yeah,
like
yeah,
kind of a Russ
retro.
Meyer, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if you saw The Love Witch that came out last year.
I did not.
Has that intentionally retro feel to it.
Okay.
I feel like that's what they're going through. Not on every track. Some of the tracks, like I feel like some of the tracks sound a little bit like they're kind of going for the trip hop, like White Pepper Ice Cream, for example. Whereas though some of them are really kind of like this is more of a 60s, 70s jam. I don't know. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, is it going to go in your rotation?
Maybe one or two of the songs might go. How about you?
Yeah, so definitely some of them I've always enjoyed.
I think one of the things that you have to take away is that this is their first album, and so they are kind of interesting. So I'm interested in what happens next.
Right, okay.
So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
It's interesting. It's weird. It's very, some of it is very 90s, and some of it sounds like it could come out now. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. All right, you want to rate it? Ready to rate Cibo Matto's Viva La Woman?
Yes.
Gary. Okay.
4 stars would be like I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar.
Okay.
3 stars would be like Women are just fine.
Okay, women are doing it for themselves.
Yeah. 2 stars is like women belong in the kitchen.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that sentiment.
1 star is like a woman in Harvey Weinstein's hotel room.
Oh, poor women. I'm going to give this 3 stars. I think I would recommend this. People should listen to it. Give it a listen.
Yeah, I'll give it 2.5.
Yeah.
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 I'll give it 2.5 stars. I think it's enjoyable.
I think, there are definitely some tracks that people will enjoy on this. The album as a whole, is it something you... Yeah, give it a listen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and maybe some of their other stuff might be better.
Yeah. They had
more mature.
some interesting...
add some Sean Lennon in
Yep.
there. Who knows?
All right. Well, we will be back. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about... I guess Robert Rodriguez is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, I think let's give him credit for it.
But we're still going to stay in January 19, 1996, so we'll be right back.
Let's get rambling.
One night is all that stands between them and freedom.
This is my kind of place.
But it's going to be one hell of a night.
We might be in trouble. There are a bunch of fucking vampires out there trying to get in here and suck our fucking blood.
Now, their only chance is to fight back.
Welcome.
Whoa! Welcome to my single podcast.
Welcome
back.
I was kneeling during that. Is that okay?
Because
a protest.
Oh, okay. How'd you like that trailer, Gary?
That was nice. That was the trailer for From Dusk Till Dawn. You know, released January 19th, 1996. Not January 1st. Same week as Cibo Matto's Viva La Woman.
Right.
Yep. That's what we do here.
Those two things are very similar.
Yes. But we're talking about From Dusk Till Dawn because it's Shocktober.
Oh, that's right. The month we all become villains and monsters.
That's right.
And cretins and horrible killers, etc.
That's right.
Etc.
So this is the horror movie we chose to discuss for this month.
Right.
Horror,
that is
horror
the one
movie.
we chose.
Horror. I chose it.
Gary is making quotation marks around horror movie because an audio podcast with quotation marks.
That was just for you, Eric. It wasn't for the audience. Oh. So.
If you were going to the multiplex on January 19th, 2016, 1996,
right.
sorry.
And
everybody was, right? Like,
yep.
who doesn't
go to
the movies
right.
in January?
Yep. It's cold out. All right, so the number 10 movie that week was Sense and Sensibility.
Oh, that's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Good Alan Rickman performance. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
And Emma Thompson won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Number 9 was Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
That is connected in spirit to previous my so-called podcast, higher learning.
Number 8 that week was Toy Story.
Toy Story 1.
Yep.
I would have guessed that hung around the top a little longer. I think I saw that in November 95. It was a big hit movie.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. We're looking at the total from January. $174 million.
It was a big hit.
Yep.
Pixar was like, how about these computer-generated cowboys, y'all?
That's right. And the world was like, yes, I want to go to there.
And I would like to do that.
Yes. Number 7 is Heat.
Heat.
Michael Mann's.
Starring Michael Mann.
No. He directed it.
Starring Natalie Portman as Al Pacino's daughter.
And number 6 is Jumanji. Bonnie Hunt.
I think my friend Derek and I went to see Jumanji in December of 95 because Heat was sold out.
Oh, yeah. Jumanji's okay. It's fine.
We were like, that girl that's in Jumanji is going to be pretty hot when she's old enough.
Right. Was she? Did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, what's her bucket?
Bonnie Hunt. Oh, no. It's Kristen Dunst is in Jumanji.
Yeah.
That's
she
right.
ended up being Mary Jane in Spider-Man.
That's right. Number 5, you know what? I was saying that when I was watching Interview with the Vampire. No, that's wrong. I'm sorry.
You were saying that when you were watching her baby videos.
Exactly.
She's going to be super hot.
And number 5 is Grumpier Old Men.
Yeah.
Yep. that
Grumpy
happened.
Old Men sort of skated by on its charms.
Yeah.
And Grumpier Old Men was really...
Yeah, it was like
wearing out those charms.
You weared out the welcome.
I mean, they brought in Sophia Loren,
can't
and it
go wrong
still
with
had
that.
Jack Lemmon in it.
Right.
That's it.
Number 4 is Eye for an Eye. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess Ashley Judd and Ewan McGregor, erotic thriller.
Maybe. I'm drawing a blank on it.
I think I'm right.
Okay.
It makes me think of the Seven Psychopaths Martin
Yeah.
McDonough thing, where it's like an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, and they're like, no, somebody would still have an eye.
All right.
Do the math. Eventually, like, somebody would have an eye
Right.
still.
Number 3, 12 Monkeys.
I saw that movie in the theater around this time,
Pretty
too.
sure I did too. Number 2, Mr. Hallen's Opus.
Yep.
Yep. I always remember that one from when he calls his dad an asshole by sign language. That's what I took away from Mr. Hallen's Opus.
You learned how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a...
Yeah, it's that. It was that.
Yeah.
And the number 1 movie that week was the movie we're talking about this week. From dusk till all the way till dawn. From dusk till dawn.
All the way till dawn.
Yep. So the whole night. All right.
So, Gary.
Yes.
You and I are 90s film fans.
Yes, we are.
And there's no way to be a 90s film fan without knowing the impact of certain individuals and certain institutions, one of whom is Quentin Tarantino. Mm-hmm. Another would be maybe the Sundance Film Festival.
Yes.
Another would be Miramax Films.
Miramax
the offshoot
Films.
of Dimension Films.
Yes.
The horror offshoot. So all these things culminated in an alchemy of filmmaking in this film, which ended up being a follow-up of sorts. The closest thing we got to a follow-up of Pulp Fiction, because it was written by Quentin Tarantino. It had Quentin Tarantino in it. Directed by Robert Rodriguez, but still, you were like, This is the guy who made Pulp
He
Fiction.
was going to direct this at one point.
He did, however, write it before he had written anything else.
Right.
He had.
Wait.
My understanding is he wrote it first before he wrote anything else.
Oh, no. I guess I'm confused on the timeline because I thought he wrote it after Reservoir Dogs. I thought Reservoir Dogs was first.
Well, my understanding is he knew the guy who had the special effects house.
Right. So that's it. That somebody
and he
has
wrote
a
it
story.
for this.
Okay.
Right. The question is, either... So you went to the theater and saw this? Because I did.
I think I did. I don't really recall. No, I think, yeah, I did.
Definitely.
I did. Yes.
Me, I saw it on Saturday night after opening Friday.
I think I was looking forward to this movie when it was released, yes.
And I was like, here I am watching the new Quentin Tarantino movie, you know, with my friend George, who's on ER.
Oh, right. George Clooney.
Either you were like, I am satisfied. This is the new Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Or you were like, this is the new Quentin
Right.
Tarantino
So,
movie.
my reaction to this film is twofold because at first, for the first 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is the new Quentin Tarantino film. I'm digging this. But then
I mean, you could say 40 minutes-ish.
I get, yeah, maybe even 40 minutes.
You get across the Mexico border.
Right. That is when...
If only Trump would have built that wall, this would still be a good movie. Because they couldn't have gotten through.
Such a tonal shift. It is ridiculous. And I know it becomes a vampire movie. Like, when I was in 1996, well, we were 17, 18, I was angry about that tonal shift. Rewatching it this time, I wasn't as angry because maybe
Because you remember...
Yeah.
You didn't feel like you were getting gypped out of something you thought you were getting.
Yeah, exactly. And so it wasn't as jarring this time, but it was still kind of like, they had such a good movie going. So let's set it. So Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney are outlaws.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino is one of the stars of the film.
Luckily,
however, note to the audience, that is a sign that it's not going to be a good movie.
Yeah, how prominent of a role he has.
Right, like after Destiny turns on the radio, it should have been clear that since he was on the poster, this wasn't going to be a good movie.
Harvey Keitel's in it. Julia Lewis is in it. Cheech Marin.
Juliette Lewis, I think one of the hallmarks of the film is how poorly written her character is.
Yeah,
like,
she doesn't.
There's nothing there.
She doesn't.
Nothing
for her. Yeah.
Nothing.
So.
Cheech Marin in 3 different roles.
Yep. 3 different roles.
Hilarious.
Yeah. And then you know what? Robert Rodriguez had high hopes from him. I enjoyed El Mariachi. I also enjoyed Desperado. It was a little over the top maybe, but I still enjoyed it. It was fun.
So, yeah. So, let me give you a little bit of a glimpse into the world of me.
Yeah.
For that particular couple of years. I definitely... So, a friend of mine let me borrow his copy of Reservoir Dogs on VHS. And I watched it without my parents' permission, and I thought it was awesome.
Right. Well, it was. It is awesome.
It is.
You
awesome.
should go watch Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs is great.
It is.
And then I went to see Pulp Fiction in the theater. I would say maybe November or December after it came out in October. And I was puzzled by it. I was challenged by it.
Oh, I loved Pulp Fiction right away. Saw it a couple times in the theater.
It bothered me more than it, like, it made me feel grody more than I liked it.
Okay.
But I knew there was a lot of talent there, but it was kind of disturbing and gross to me.
Okay.
But then I saw it a couple more times in the theater because I was like, I want to go back and see what I think of that thing.
Yeah.
And I ended up liking it, but I still feel like, yeah, I mean, it's gross. It gets under your skin, some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Like Marvin getting killed, for example, still bothers me.
Yeah.
The way that they
Just-
handle that
they
and
just-
everything.
yeah.
Anyway, it's its own thing. And Desperado was a thing where all my group of friends was really into Kevin Smith, and we were really
Yeah.
into this sort of pulpy kind of filmmaking kind of a thing. And we all saw Desperado on opening day because we knew that it was going to be, that side of like stuff we liked in filmmaking.
Yeah.
And we all loved it. We thought it was an awesome movie. Awesome. Like totally awesome.
So you hadn't seen El Mariachi? So
No.
I did see El Mariachi before Desperado. And
Yeah.
So I think
that
that's
might take away.
yeah.
It's like
It definitely did.
seeing Abre los Ojos before Vanilla Sky kind of a
right.
situation.
And this is even worse because it's the same guy. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, you did the same thing better before. So.
And I can see that. But we all were down. So, okay. And so here's the secret chapter here.
Uh-huh.
In the infancy of the internet,
Yeah.
I was on, some boards and whatever, like film geek type boards.
Oh, okay.
And this screenplay leaked.
Oh,
From
okay,
Dusk Till
yeah.
Dawn leaked. And to me, reading through the first half of the screenplay, I was like, this is Pulp Fiction. This is Reservoir Dogs. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff here. There's the out of control brother, and there's the in control brother, and the preacher and his family, and he's given up God and
Right.
getting across the
It's-
border, and
yep.
there's the shootout in the convenience store, which a lot of the setups in the convenience store look a lot like Clerks.
Oh, yeah,
Looking at the guy behind the counter and looking out at the people.
Right.
Like, to me, it sort of looks like Clerks.
Yeah.
And so it was all in this mid-90s, hipster film fan ethos. I was like, this is the best movie that's ever going to be ever. And then when it happened in the screenplay to become a vampire movie, I was like, that's awesome. Right?
Oh, yeah,
this is going to be awesome.
Uh-huh.
Because the way that it works is the more fantastic a screenplay is in your mind, fantastic in the sense of wild,
Yeah.
the more outrageous and amazing it's going to be. But in reality, I guess, what happens is, the more out there a screenplay gets, the harder it is to realize that screenplay on
I know what
film.
you're saying.
So when I first saw it, I was like, yeah! And then they got to the titty twister bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
It's such, it's such a tonal shift. And so you're going from a kind of a tense crime story to a horror, and that would have been one thing, but even the jokes, it gets almost too campy. Is the problem. They don't do the horror serious
It's not campy in the first part at all.
at all.
And the things he tries to do, so the only things that are funny are, so George Clooney's a pretty straightforward criminal, and his brother, who he is indebted to for breaking him out of prison, is a nut job.
Psychopath.
He, in the first scene of the movie, he kills the guy that works at the convenience store. He shoots a sheriff in the head, who then comes back, Michael Parks. He comes back in Kill Bill Volume 1, Volume 2.
Yeah.
And also was in Kevin Smith's Red State. He's very good in that.
Okay.
he was actually an actor going back to the 60s, 50s. He's been an actor in Hollywood for many, many, many years. And this role, where they cast him as the sheriff, was sort of part of his renaissance in the indie.
Oh,
film community.
and he does that. Beginning scene's pretty good. My only criticism is how much George Clooney cocks and uncocks his pistol when he's talking to the. He's just going like, "You see this? I got a gun." Click, 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 and it's like, all right, calm down with that, George.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Although you could blame Rodriguez.
yeah, exactly. If that was his direction, but I would say even that scene, Rodriguez is. Being subtle with his camera.
When Quentin Tarantino's character Richie kills the sheriff by shooting him in the head, it's shocking. It's upsetting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not what's supposed to happen, and that lends an element of surprise and dynamism to the scene and the screenplay that, you're just not prepared for. Like, he's playing by different rules than everybody else in the scene is playing by, and then it sort of gets out of control because of him. And a movie where two brothers are on the lam, one of them is indebted the other for breaking him out of prison, but the one that broke him out of prison is a hindrance, a problem.
Yeah.
Like, you can make a really good movie out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
And then you throw in a preacher who has lost his faith and his kids. It's like, yeah, that's great. Let's
see what they can do with this.
Exactly.
It's very interesting.
Yep.
And the scene where he comes back, Seth Gecko, George Clooney, comes back to the hotel room after leaving a hostage with Richie to find that he has murdered her unnecessarily, is powerful. It's like, oh my God, this guy, I don't know if I can
and
be on the lam with him. He's such a bad person.
Again, that scene and Robert Rodriguez has an editing credit for the film. He edited the film.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see like what he's doing there, where you get the shots of spliced in.
It's George Clooney's horrified face.
Yes.
And then spliced in scenes of the
blood
murder
on the
scene.
telephone, blood on the pillow.
But it's just super fast, almost subliminal shots of it. And the reason that it's powerful is not because the editing is good or bad or whatever. He's good at editing later on in the movie too. But the editing evokes this sense of horror. Like, this guy's a bad person. Why did he do this? Like, what am I stuck with here? And then...
And then they get down to Mexico, and right away, so not only is it, so we got the name of the bar, it's called...
The Titty Twister.
The Titty Twister.
The Twitty Twister.
Exactly. And then Cheech Marin at the front shouting out all this stuff.
Profanity.
Exactly.
That did make me and my friend laugh pretty hard. Just the shock.
Right.
Like, because it does go from nuance to shock pretty fast.
It's so... he looks at the camera, down at the camera. It's ridiculous.
Right. So we go into this bar, which is a strip club, right?
Yep.
And a bar. And the goal is George Clooney and so Seth and Richie and his hostages are going to drink until 4 a.m. when the people that are going to help them in Mexico are going to show up this bar.
Right.
So they're just going to sit there and be cool.
Yeah.
That's the
plan.
That is the plan, right? And there's some sort of normal bar like bravado and machismo that kind of gets in the way.
Oh yeah. They said they can't be there at first, and then they are able to be there.
And then Salma Hayek, who was the star of, along with Antonio Banderas, of Desperado, very much because of her charisma, but also her body in Desperado, then basically comes out and does sort of a reprise of like, here's my body again, everybody. Remember this body?
Yes, and I did, and it was nice, and I appreciated that part. But at the same time,
she's like the head stripper that dances around with a snake, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And the movie stops dead in its tracks for
it does,
her to do
right.
this for an extremely long time.
Yeah. It goes on longer than it needs to.
And then what happens is something's going to happen. I don't exactly remember what happens, but they're going to get into some trouble, and they start trying to shoot their way out of it. Oh, Cheech's character comes back in and says, this guy broke my hand. Which, by the way,
right.
Why did they break his hand? There didn't seem to be a reason.
No, right. There wasn't.
They're just being jerks.
Yeah.
Which brings me back to the point of, like, are we supposed to be on the Gecko Brothers side?
Yeah,
here?
right.
Like, they're both terrible. They
Yep.
suck. I hate them both.
And at the beginning, you got a point, though, where you're going to kind of like George Clooney, maybe, because he is contrasted with Quentin Tarantino's character. But no, they make George Clooney just as big of a jerk, and you don't care.
As soon as they enter the bar, the Titty Twister bar, he's like a total jerk.
Yeah.
He's like a jerk for no reason to like a number of people.
Yeah,
and it's like
making Julia Lewis drink and making not respecting Harvey Keitel. Yeah,
he's just a total ass. And it's like, okay, I guess we all are going to side with him still once everybody turns into vampires.
Right.
But that's lazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, everybody turns into vampires.
Everybody turns into vampires.
And there's a scene that's like several minutes long of like the band and the strippers and Salma Hayek
all the
and
vampires,
Cheech, and everybody turns into vampires because it turns out this bar is a trap.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get truckers and whatnot in there, lock them in, and drink their blood.
And I still that band playing for the whole time, and it's fine, I guess, other than the fact that they're playing body parts as instruments.
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Okay. I could stick with it if it were a good movie that turned into a not so good movie about vampires.
Yeah.
If said second movie made any degree of sense. Which, if I told you the entire story of the second half of the movie is they're trapped in there with vampires.
Yeah.
Until dawn.
Right.
To survive.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
the whole thing.
Yep.
And so I want to say 60 to 70 minutes of the movie compromises what I just said.
Yeah.
And so to fill up 60 to 70 minutes, it's what are some interesting ways to kill vampires?
Exactly.
What are some interesting gory special effects?
Oh.
What are some gross and not so interesting things to show the audience?
Right. We had to get introduced with not really introduced, but just kind of when the Harvey Keitel, Quentin Tarantino, George Clooney, when they all come in, the camera kind of lingers on two people, Sex Machine and
Tom Savini,
yeah.
Special effects icon,
yeah.
Tom Savini,
and what was that? Fred Williamson. Yeah. So we get introduced. They're going to survive a little bit longer,
right? Just
so they can also get turned to vampires later.
And there is sort of a cute portion where Sex Machine is trying to sort of he's in denial.
Well, he's getting turned into a vampire.
He's turning into a vampire, but he's sort of trying to hide it from himself,
right,
and from his friends.
Yes,
like putting his vampire hands behind his back, and
yeah. And see, that's just another thing where that was
cute.
It was kind of humorous, yeah. And then the part where Fred Williamson's telling his story about that whole scene. He's telling the story about
and then I killed this guy, and then I killed that
and
guy.
And they're all paying attention to this story, and he's over there turning into a vampire.
That's fine. And, I feel like that was sort of half thought out by Tarantino and Rodriguez, and they were like, this would be interesting.
Exactly.
And there's other stuff. There's like people using pool cues as stakes.
Yeah.
And the whole, I grabbed your heart out of your chest, but then I put a pencil through the heart.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And there's one part where somebody gets killed on a pool table, and the vampire's eyes roll around and go into the corner pockets. And, I mean, it's a bunch of sort of somewhat interesting vampire kills that are gross.
Yeah, but then it just goes on forever, too.
It does go on forever. But.
Yeah.
I will say.
What are you going to say?
They kill all the vampires.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so mostly Harvey Keitel, Juliette Lewis, her brother, Fred Williamson, and Sex Machine are all there. One of them who's notably dead is Quentin Tarantino's Seth.
Yes.
Who then comes back to life as a vampire.
Right.
And must be killed by... No, Richie is Quentin Tarantino and has to be killed by Seth, George Clooney. Yeah. So he has to kill his brother, right? And that's fine. And then he dies. And then there's sort of a calm.
Yeah, well, that's... So Richie turns before Sex Machine becomes a vampire, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
But then there's this big, long, calm thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, okay, that was chapter 2 of the movie. Mm-hmm. Chapter 1 was interesting. Chapter 2 was stupid, but sort of interesting. But I feel like chapter 3 of the movie is just chapter 2 again.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And that's, I think, the thing that sinks this movie. Like, it just becomes, okay, when is this going to be over?
Yeah, it's just like all the vampires come in, they get cornered, they're going to attack it. And what's with George Clooney's motorized stake? What's the point of that?
It looks cool, but it's not helpful.
It's not helpful at all. It doesn't make any sense. Staking them multiple times doesn't do anything.
Right.
If you stake them once, they're dead. And
no, I mean, everybody needed a bucket full of those condoms full of holy water.
Holy water. You just needed to get a bunch of, or
well,
not even.
I thought
they could have just gotten a bucket of holy water and thrown that out.
Right.
I put them in condoms.
Right. Right. Well, there were barrels back in that room.
Right.
They could have filled the barrels with water and then just dumped it down the hallway.
Exactly. Bless it. Dump it down the hallway. Done.
But that just shows how the third portion of the movie is so weak. It's like, we should not be thinking about this kind of a thing.
It's
right? If we're thinking about this kind of a thing, then we are not engaged. We're not interested. We're not... The best Tarantino movies, they take us by surprise.
Yeah.
The things that happen take us by surprise. The choices the characters make, shock us. It's not about the goo. This movie is about the goo.
It becomes about the goo, yeah. Which is something that Robert Rodriguez, we've learned since this. He can sometimes...
He could like the goo.
He will not... Yeah, he doesn't hold back sometimes.
Yeah, I mean...
He likes to have fun. That's good, but...
I think Robert Rodriguez likes to make movies.
Yeah.
And,
he
and
definitely
have
does.
fun and
yeah.
hang.
Yeah.
And Tarantino kind of, I think, got into that where it's like, basically, they were on the Weinstein's dime here.
Yeah.
And they were like, we can hang out with a freaking movie star or 3 or 4 and get our heroes, Tom Savini and all these people, and we're just going to have a grand old time.
Right. Yeah, it's like Quentin Tarantino, I think, later movies at least, will be like, will ask, like, why is this scene here? And he'll try to answer that question, where Robert Rodriguez will just like, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's a good stuff. And I think, Quentin Tarantino this.
It seems that they got caught up in making this without having an eye towards the finished product, which is death for a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to watch the second half of this movie. It is so repetitive.
It just and then it doesn't resolve. They dawn and all the vampires blow up and the place blows up and it's like, okay.
And it's a Mayan temple.
Yeah. And George Clooney's like, bye, Juliette Lewis. See you later.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that bothers me the most about it is just the wasted potential. Like, because we know that genre movies in the form of horror or thriller or spy or whatever, if you take them seriously enough, we've seen over the past 20 or 30 years, it actually can become an amazing movie.
Right.
And they just don't trust themselves enough to make a intelligent vampire movie here. They're like, vampires,
yeah,
it's stupid, right?
It becomes dumb.
They think that dumb. Making a grindhouse movie just exactly like a grindhouse movie is enough,
right?
But it's like grindhouse movies, and as an influence, created Kill Bill 1 and 2, which is transcendent, right? It's like something greater than the sum of its parts. It's more interesting and different and becomes more human and surprising. Whereas this is just like, we're doing this thing that's in a lot of movies.
Right.
It was very disappointing at the time. It remains very disappointing.
Yeah. You ready to rate it?
Yeah.
Okay.
4 stars, Dracula.
Okay.
3 stars, True Blood. 2 stars, Twilight. 1 star, Once Bitten, starring Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed that one. I'm going to give From Dusk Till Dawn 2 stars. Like the first half's pretty good. It becomes dumb once it becomes a vampire movie.
Give it a 1.5 star.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as 4 Rooms.
No.
But it tries my patience so greatly.
It was pretty bad.
And just I docket points for just the amount of expectation I had based on the quality of the product they actually delivered.
Exactly. Yep. Expectations were high.
Weird thing is, if you read the screenplay, it still reads like, oh, this is going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
But the execution, like you said, the tone in the second half, they just decided to go for, oh, isn't this hilarious?
Yeah, which is not what was set up. So, thanks for listening to another episode of My So-Called Podcast in Shocktober. I've been Gary Linton.
And I've been Eric Spiegel.
Oh, we should do, let's, before we sign off, Eric's on Twitter as the Eric Spiegel. I'm Gary Linton. Follow us on Twitter at MySoCalledPod. Email us, mysocalledpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe in iTunes. Thanks.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.